whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. Hello, my friend. Happy Leap Day. This is the day. It is today. February 29th is Leap Day. I have a bunch of facts. Did you know that it doesn't actually happen every 4 years?
What?
I did not know that. I always thought it was every single 4 years, but it's not, apparently.
What is it?
So... So apparently simple math says that over 4 years is the difference between the calendar year and the sidereal year. It's not exactly 24 hours. It's 23.262222 hours. So rounding strikes again, we say it's 24 hours. By adding a leap day every 4 years, we actually make the calendar longer by 44 minutes. So over time, those extra 44 minutes would cause the seasons to drift in our calendar, which is the reason we have leap year. For this reason, not every 4 years is a leap year. The rule is, this is the rule, okay. If the year is divisible by 100 and not divisible by 400, leap year is skipped. So the year 2000 was a leap year, but the years 1700, 1800, and 1900 were not. The next time a leap year will be skipped is in the year 2100.
God, who even comes up with this?
Farmers. I mean, I really feel like farmers and all sorts of things. So, and happy birthday, Spencer.
Woo!
Happy early birthday. It's tomorrow, so remind us tomorrow as well, and we'll sing you a little bit of a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Spencer.
Yeah.
Happy birthday week.
Exactly. Month. The month starts tomorrow, so you have all of March as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, we celebrate leap year because it actually takes the Earth 365.24219 days to orbit the sun, or 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 56 seconds. That's the sidereal year. And so if we did not account for this, the seasons would drift. Over time, summers would be in the wrong months and we'd be all backwards. So that's why we add the days. There's a 1 in 1,461 chance of being a baby born on February 29th. According to the Associated Press, there are about 5 million people worldwide who share the leap day birthday out of about 8 billion people on the planet. So if you're one of them, happy birthday. If this is your birthday, that's pretty awesome. So that there's that. There are some celebrities, by the way. You know who was born on leap day?
Oh.
Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins was born. Antonio Sabato Jr., who I don't particularly care for. Ja Rule, born on leap day. Dinah Shore. And also Dennis Farina, who's passed away, but he celebrated his birthday on leap day. So happy birthday and death to Dennis Farina, of course. But of course, leap day, there's all kinds of, I think Krispy Kreme is doing something. There's a bunch of restaurants. So if you Google it, I'm sure that you'll be able to. Nikki, we have leap seconds every so often as well. I can't keep track of all that though, Eric.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can keep track of that. And yes, Phineas, Dennis Farina is dead. He died in, 10 years ago or something like that. Anyways, happy leap day. We will celebrate this extra day. It's called a leap year or leap day because your birthday leaps the following year. So my birthday was on a Friday last year. So this year it's going to be on a Sunday. So it's just skipped. So, if you were hoping to have a Saturday birthday because your birthday last year was on a Friday, ain't going to happen. So sorry. It's not going to happen. Okay. So those are all my leap day, leap year facts and figures for us. I do also have an announcement. Remember, we were talking yesterday about the food segments and the recipes because you were talking about how your awesome husband cooks for you all the time. And we always have these Friday food segments. So, and I said that I would create a place for us to put our lists and for me to put the recipes I talk about and maybe the food and the reservation. So I created it. And of course I didn't make a banner for it, but it's easy peasy because it's in the show notes. It is, hold on, I'm going to get the address right. So it is the Nikki Maduro Show .substack.com. I wanted to put it in my favorite things and I could put the link in my favorite things, but I needed to create like a place for it to link to. So the Substack is there. It's in the show notes. Somebody emailed me this morning. Susan, I think you emailed me this morning. And so I sent you the link, but it's right there. I started with my first, I have to add more stuff. I was doing this. Thank you very much. I was doing this last night. Sometimes you just go down rabbit holes. So I have one post up because I got the Substack going. I have one post up, but it's my first, and I'm going to put this in quotes, viral recipe that I did. Remember the cheesecake pastry candy cane thing that I made over the holidays? It was the first video that I did that hit 2 million, more than 2 million views. Like more than 2 million people watched it. I don't know how many times. Maybe it was less than 2 million people, but they watched it more than 2 million times. Whatever. That's the first thing that's in there. And I will add more. So if you guys have recipes that you want me to add, if you have restaurant recommendations, I could throw it in there. It's easy peasy. Substack is very easy. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun. So I'll add more. I know there's only one thing, but you can subscribe to it and then you get it sent to you and you don't have to continue to look for it. And so that's where it is. Some other business to get out of the way. Click that thumbs up button. Show your support for the show. We really appreciate each and every one of you who donates. We got a $50 Patreon subscriber yesterday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please support having the show on the air.
So nice.
Oh, it is so nice. It's sometimes, and I get it. It's people have different, financial circumstances. So we don't want to guilt anybody into doing it, but the show can't exist unless we can make it financially viable because it's 100% crowdfunded. So please sign up for our Patreon. And if you could bump it up, which so many of you do, which I appreciate. I think you guys start at one point and then you're like, yeah, I want to keep the show going. And then you bump it up and that just warms my insides. So go to thenikkimaduroshow.com and our Patreon link is there. We also accept PayPal. Just got a PayPal donation as well. So go to paypal.com, hit the send button, and then just put in the email, thenikkimaduroshow@gmail.com, and you could donate that way. We have the merch shop as well. I need to get on that and put some new stuff up there as well. My list of favorite things, just go to Linktree. And it's Nikki Maduro. You can just look up my name on Linktree and you can find it there. So we have a bunch of places, of course, where you guys can find us. I've also sent out the sleep diary tracker. That can also be found. Just Google Get Some Z's. That's Get Some Z's is Z-E-E-Z. It's cutesy because it has to be. So you could find that there. That's all in the show notes. I put everything right at the beginning of the show description each and every day. So it's easy for you to find. So just click more and you can see all of those things. Oh, thank you, Louise, for the $5 super chat donation, which is another way for you guys to support the show. Happy leap year, everybody. And happy birthday, Spencer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it so, so very much. So yeah, it's going to be, we just have so many places for this community to go. And I appreciate you guys. And I know Kim does as well. And so we love the show. And because we talk about all sorts of things on this show. I did one of the surveys, the first survey that I did, and I got to come up with my March survey. And you guys said you love the wide range of topics that we discuss. We're not just a political show, although we talk about politics. We're not just a Bay Area, California show because we talk about things happening across the country and the world. So I like doing that. Keeps me from getting bored. You guys really love it. And so again, if you can support the show to keep us on the air, we would really, really appreciate it. And yeah, go check out the food Substack. It says like the Nikki Maduro Show, Cook with Nikki, something like that. You'll know it. You'll see the logo and you'll be at the right place. Okay, let's do some headlines because I feel like some of my stories are going to be in your headlines. A lot of political news came out yesterday. We touched on it just a bit. While Kim does her news, let me know in the comments how you're feeling about the Supreme Court announcing Trump's immunity decision. Actually, before we go to you, Kim, I'm going to play just a little bit of it to set it up, and then we'll discuss it in the comments as well.
Mhm.
Because on one hand, I was like, yes. On the other hand, I'm like, shoot. And there's a reason why, and it's because of what you'll hear in this report.
The move further delaying any trial in the case, likely for months. And if Mr. Trump wins, the charges would be dismissed. Arguments now set for the week of April 22nd. An appeals court had ruled against him, saying former President Trump has become Citizen Trump with all of the defenses of any other criminal defendant. But Mr. Trump hoped the Supreme Court would put that on pause, saying he was being wrongly prosecuted for official acts that happened while he was still in office.
If you have a president that doesn't have immunity, he's never going to be free to do anything because the opposing party will always indict him as soon as he leaves the White House.
The High Court already set to decide another legal battle for the Republican frontrunner, hearing arguments last month over Colorado's move to ban him from the ballot. The justices sounding skeptical of Colorado's ability to disqualify him there, with a ruling expected anytime.
And Laura.
So, yeah, let me know how you guys feel like this. I feel optimistic that they're going to side that you can't have immunity from everything, right? I really do feel they're going to uphold the appeals court, but it's the delays that I think everybody is most concerned about. And so let me know what you guys are thinking. We'll touch on it a little more. Also, it's not in the notes, but I have to touch. And thank you, CA Fireman. And I apologize, I don't know what your real name is, but you sent me this through X, Twitter. Kim, and this is going to bother you, and so I'm just going to preface this for you. Investigating Sequest. Have you seen this report it was on ABC 10, which I believe is in Sacramento. I am so upset about this. Kim, they have a capybara apparently there, and it is the most horrifying place to have quote unquote animals from 5 different continents.
What's SeaQuest? Like a SeaWorld?
It's not even a thumbnail of SeaWorld. It is a shopping center that they turned into a safari/aquarium. Imagine a windowless place where there are sloths, fish, turtles, capybaras, wallabies. I mean, I'll show you a little bit of it. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is if anybody's been to Sequest, you got to let me know. I'll play just a clip of it. It's like a 10-minute long thing investigating Sequest. After the show, I'll put it in the show notes because I literally right before I was watching the show, I was like, oh, and I clicked on it to watch it. And it's so horrifying. But these experiences, everything from the horrifying thing at Sequest to something else that kind of had me giggling. It was this, and I don't know if you've seen it, the Willy Wonka-inspired experience. Apparently, people got had by like an AI generated commercial or promotion. That's great. And then something fun is opening up in San Jose, which I wanted to bring up because I think these are the sorts of things that could help the soon to be no longer Macy's in Union Square. Okay. So all these sorts of things will be happening. That'll be, I think, towards the second part of the show after Jefferson Graham is when we'll talk about all of those things. But first, let's get a look at some of the big news from Kim.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Maduro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Well, we will start with the border. Both President Biden and former President Trump are set to visit the U.S.-Mexico border today. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre telling reporters the president will meet with Border Patrol agents and leaders in Brownsville, Texas. He'll also call on Republicans to vote to pass a bipartisan border security deal that was negotiated in the Senate. Meanwhile, Donald Trump will deliver remarks in Eagle Pass. It's a pretty disturbing situation in the Middle East. At least 100 people are dead after an Israeli attack on a crowd of Palestinians waiting for aid in Gaza City. They were waiting for food. That according to a spokesperson for the Gaza Health Ministry. And we don't know what touched this off. The Israeli military said it was reviewing what happened, and one Israeli official said IDF troops responded with live fire after trucks carrying humanitarian aid were surrounded by people. The Biden administration said it was monitoring a serious incident at the Gaza aid site. They were negotiating a ceasefire, and President Biden says this will be now something that maybe sets this back, but he's hopeful they can still move forward.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Former President Trump has until Friday to appeal a decision to remove him from the Illinois ballot. The reason for the removal was the 14th Amendment so-called insurrectionist ban. Illinois now is the third state to attempt to block Trump, kick him off the ballot, joining Colorado and Maine as well.
I mean, don't you think that this kind of, and again, because of the decision that was made about Colorado, I feel like this is just helping him in a way, giving him basically free advertising and ginning up his support, and why, emboldening people that want him as president again to get out there. On the other hand, it could be making people be like, dude, this guy's nuts. I want him. He has way too many problems. I'm hoping that, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it seems to me the more states that do it, the more cases are brought.
Yeah. True.
The more it's interesting to hear judges have to somehow try to circumvent the Constitution, or, I don't know, talk circles around it, because it just seems so incredibly clear. But okay.
To us, to sane people, it does. But again, convincing judges, and the Colorado judges were really skeptical about the whole process of, is someone immediately, removed from office or removed from the ballot? And I understood that, but yeah, it's so frustrating when it seems so cut and dry.
We talked yesterday about that fire in Texas, the Smokehouse Creek fire. Now somebody's died because of this fire in the Texas Panhandle. This is an 83-year-old woman. Her name is Joyce Blankenship. She's the first confirmed death from this wildfire. It's the second largest in the Texas state history. Burning northeast of Amarillo, the fire has scorched about 900,000 acres so far. It's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
Here in California, there's a judge tentatively allowing a racial bias class action lawsuit against Tesla to move forward. The group of nearly 6,000 black workers claim the electric vehicle maker was aware of rampant race discrimination and harassment at its plant in Fremont and did nothing about it. Tesla was first sued by an assembly line worker in 2017 who alleged black employees were subject to racial slurs, graffiti, and nooses hung at their workstations. Tesla maintains it does not tolerate workplace harassment, saying workers engaged in such behavior have been fired. The latest inflation report shows it rose in line with expectations last month. The personal consumption expenditures price index, excluding food and energy costs, increased 0.4% in January. It rose 0.28% compared to a year ago, as predicted by economists. So I guess we're doing okay in that situation. And see you later, Oprah. She is stepping down from her role at Weight Watchers. Winfrey had served on the board of directors for 9 years. Maybe they don't like that she's taking the weight loss drug.
Well, I mean, it does kind of run counter. If you're saying that Weight Watchers works, why are you also supplementing with whatever she's on, Ozempic, we'll go, whatever? I don't know what she's on.
It's not a real ringing endorsement for Weight Watchers, is it?
Yeah, I guess that's hard. I mean, because think about it. If she goes and she's like, Weight Watchers will help you lose weight, everyone's going to be like, no, it didn't.
Wegovy helped you lose weight. Winfrey had served on the board of directors there for 9 years. Since the announcement late Wednesday, shares of Weight Watchers have been down by as much as 25%.
Wow.
25%. Winfrey also pledged to donate her financial stake in the company to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. So,
I mean, here's the thing. I thought, maybe I'm wrong. I thought that Weight Watchers was going to get into the whole having their own medication. I feel like I remember you like reporting on this weight loss drug. Yeah, I feel like, hold on. Yeah, so they have, the 6-year-old company is launching Weight Watchers Clinic, which will give them access to weight loss management and doctors who can prescribe Wegovy or this other one called Zepbound. So maybe that wasn't the one that Oprah used. Oprah said, I think she admitted to using Ozempic. So it wasn't even the one that Weight Watchers was promoting. Mm-hmm. I feel like, again, it's up to you if you want to take it. I'm not one to judge. I feel like on one hand, and I've said this many times, How many times when we talk about the difficulty of some people being able to lose weight, even though they try to eat better, they're moving, all those sorts of things. Gosh, I wish there was a magic pill or something I could take that could help me lose weight. And now we have it. And so, and it seems, at least at this point, that most people are doing okay. We have heard horror stories, though. People, they're losing too much weight. They can't stop losing weight. They'd have no more hunger. They've lost their joy of eating food. I don't want to lose my joy of eating food. You know what I mean? I love going out to dinner with my husband and my kids and eating something delicious. Interesting. And I was going to ask this, is anybody in the comments, or has anybody in the comments attempted to take Wegovy, Ozempic, whatever ones? And Eric, you said Ozempic doesn't work for me. If you don't mind, can you elaborate? Because I know people that have taken it and they are losing weight. There's different strengths, I guess, and how often you take it matters as well. Like, could you up your dose, Eric, or can you adjust the timing of it in some way that it may work for you? Other people are like, I'm not going to take a shot that's going to make me lose weight. I'm going to do it the old fashioned way and all sorts of things. I don't know. I feel like if you're having a hard time losing weight and you have health issues associated with your weight gain, i.e., heart problems, a risk of stroke, things like that, you have to weigh the balance. If you're like on death's door because, you're a heart attack away from something, then maybe you should consider taking it, and not forever necessarily, but maybe for a while. I don't know. Talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, but Flo says I refuse to take any of those weight loss drugs. Yeah. And fine. Absolutely fine. You know what I mean? Like, I respect everybody, and those that do, if you want to, take it. Now, Eric says it worked at first and I lost some weight, but now I'm starving. I'm assuming you say most of the time, and gain back some of the weight, and you're on the max amount. Okay. Yeah. And then Flo says bariatric surgery plus diet and exercise works for me. Well, I think some people would say, Flo, and again, if that works for you, awesome. Surgery is a very serious step. Some people aren't willing to take, the surgery. So, yeah, Heather says, I would totally do it if it's needed. It's just another tool. And Laura, you're absolutely right. Nothing works for everyone. So yeah, it's interesting, Kim, what's gonna happen with Oprah. I think you're muted if you're talking. No. Do we have Kim? Hello?
Sorry, I probably coughed and then muted myself.
Oh, okay.
What's interesting, I would have loved to have been privy to that conversation though about
Weight Watchers.
With the board and her, and
Well,
so
she looks
listen,
great, and I hate saying
amazing.
it like that, but because it always sucks, right?
Yeah,
because
but when you look at her, you don't think, "Oh, look what Weight Watchers is successful. Look what Weight Watchers has done."
Exactly.
You don't think that.
Nice
you
shot.
think, "Gosh, that Wegovy thing must really work out." That's what you think.
Because that's what worked. I mean, I'm sorry, when she went to that Color Purple movie premiere and she was wearing that purple dress, and everyone was like, "What?" Like, I was Oprah. I grew up with Oprah, right? And I've grown up with her weight fluctuations. And honestly, I think she's a beautiful woman, and she's been very open with her weight loss journey. But when I saw her in that purple dress, I was like, "What is she doing?" And then everyone thought the same thing. She's on Ozempic, and she was. So no one's thinking Weight Watchers. No one's thinking the W's. So no.
Eric says that drug gives a constipation. That's not good.
Can you like take laxatives to help with that though? I mean, I feel like
you're taking one drug for this and one drug for that.
Well, it's one drug for high blood pressure, one blood for hypertension. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I want it to be where you're off drugs. That's what my ultimate goal would be if I was overweight. Is I want to do something in which I don't have to take pills. I don't have to take a shot. My weight is managed. I am healthy. Those sorts of things. So if I can get there and I'm speaking about me in the abstract, if I could get there, and this is just a part of the journey, okay, I would really give pause if I had to do something for the rest of my life, though. That would give me pause, because there's obviously not enough research into lifetime on Wegovy, right? Because it hasn't been around forever. So there you go.
Yeah, Ricky Bear says better living through chemicals, right?
Well, yeah, that's the world. Everything's chemicals.
Officials say archaeologists have uncovered ancient skulls and bones stacked on top of each other at a site in Mexico. The findings were made in a small town in Jalisco. Researchers found a funerary system where bones were carefully arranged, skulls placed in one area, long bones like femurs placed in another part of the system. Officials say these bones were put in patterns after they became skeletonized. The remains are being preserved for more research now.
As you mean as when their body decayed,
Yeah.
they became skeletonized.
Skeletonized when all the flesh melted
When all
away.
the flesh. That's weird. You know, sometimes I know someone who's married to an archaeologist. He's also a teacher, but he does that sort of thing, right? Sometimes I just feel, and maybe it's just too much Indiana Jones and horror movies, but you know, maybe we should leave places where there's bodies and skulls as a warning to maybe we should just leave it alone. Maybe we shouldn't dig things up, you know, like
Well,
maybe that's the
it tells
warning.
us a lot about, how people treated the dead and what their culture was and who they were.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And don't get me wrong, I think it's very fascinating to learn about our history in a way like that. But sometimes, I don't think we heed the warnings of the skeletonized people enough. It's just like leave it alone. But that's the scary movie mind of mine. So there you go.
Let's talk a little bit more about Leap Day.
Let's do it.
We have
Leapy day.
February 29th, an event only happens once every 4 years. Leap Day, an extra day added to the calendar every 4th February to keep our seasons from getting out of whack. Everyone knows a year is 365 days long, but that is not exactly accurate. It actually takes the Earth about 365 and 1/4 days to travel around the sun. To keep the extra time from throwing things off, the Romans decided a couple thousand years ago to add an extra day every 4 years. The Pope made some slight adjustments in the 1500s, but leap years have stayed with us ever since.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's a fun day. There's actually a place in Texas and then another place in New Mexico. And forgive me, I just know it's the States. I forget the name. That they're the leap. And I think the place in Texas kind of wins it, but that are called the leap year capitals of the world. And they have big festivals and people that are born on leap day come out and there's like signs and it says it's my sweet 16 or whatever, how old they are and stuff like that. So
It's funny.
oh yeah, that's fun. Oh, and Flo says we're having a leap day leapfrog event at my school today. That's fun.
That is fun.
This is fun. It's also National Toast Day. So if you like toast, maybe your husband can toast up some of that sourdough bread he made the other night. It's
that's good
Toast
stuff.
Day. Yeah, exactly.
He made some with that has a little rye in it. And then he made the white kind because I like the white kind.
Does it have a good chew? I love sourdough bread.
You would love his bread.
I love
I need to wrap some up
bread.
and ship it down. Yeah.
Oh God. I don't, just a side note, because we're talking about bread. I don't know if you guys are watching Jon Stewart on Mondays on The Daily Show, but I'm watching it normally on replay. But he was doing the Tucker Carlson Russian, visit or whatever. And I guess there's this point where Tucker Carlson is smelling Russian bread and it's like he's orgasmic over it. Oh my God. It was so funny. But yeah, Jon Stewart's great on The Daily Show. Although the last episode this past Monday, I don't know if you're a fan of the Daily Show, but he always does this moment of Zen, which is the last video that he does. Like him, I swear to God, I was in tears crying. He did a whole segment, the last segment, about his dog that he had adopted. It was
I heard about
a
that.
three-legged a pit bull named Dipper. Oh my God. I was bawling, crying because Dipper passed away. He'd had him for so many years. I'm telling you guys, and I know so many of you know me from my KGO days and how I was so apathetic about having a dog, but that friggin' nugget, dude, I swear, that dogs are the best. My dog is the best. And it's just, if you haven't seen it, look it up because you'll just be crying along with me, but in a good way, especially if you have a dog.
Oh, so sweet. I
Yeah,
love
it was
that.
really, really sweet.
Yeah.
He tried to get through it and he totally started crying. And it was just, whenever I see somebody crying, I instantly start to cry, of course. So yeah, it was such a good segment. And you saw him the dog at the end running in the snow. It was just really sweet. So yeah.
Lastly, the New Jersey restaurant booth featured in HBO's Sopranos finale is now for sale on eBay.
Oh, how fun.
It's an iconic booth where the titular family gathered at the Holstein's Brookdale Confectionery. It's long been popular with fans, millions tuning in for the beloved show's 2007 series finale. The booth even bears a sign that says reserved for the Soprano family.
That's funny.
Holstein's is now making renovations, and the booth is on eBay, where bidding is already over $13,000.
I mean, make it a tourist spot, obviously. 13, you said how much?
13,000 right now, but the buyers have until Monday to try and snap this up. So it's got a few
seems
more
cheap,
days
yeah.
left.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
saying 13,000 seems a bit cheap for a restaurant with also
It's a
that
piece
history.
of TV history. That's right.
Exactly. I mean, you would think it would, but I mean, they're probably waiting it out. I bet the price goes way, way, way up.
Yep. I bet. I'm guessing 25,000. What do you think?
Oh, I was thinking more than that. I
Oh,
was thinking,
really?
I was thinking at least $100,000.
I mean, it's just a restaurant booth.
Oh, it's just the booth. I thought you meant the whole entire restaurant.
No, it's just the booth. The restaurant is renovating in the booth where the family sat.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
just the
see.
booth.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it's just the booth, yeah, you're probably right. Something about that. I mean, because
I
then
know.
it's, what are you going to do with it? I mean, I feel like if it was the restaurant and like, anyways, I misunderstood.
I guess you put it in your house and you know.
Well, how are you going to make money off that?
Well, maybe you don't want to make money off of it. Maybe you love The Sopranos, so you put it in your kitchen.
Yeah. I
And
guess
this is where your family eats dinner.
it's like
And you look
people
at
that-
each other and say, things in gangster.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's like people that have like a chair from Candlestick or, those sorts of things.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, James Gandolfini is dead and he sat at the booth, so that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay. We'll see how high it goes.
Sopranos booth. I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not even that interesting.
Exactly. Like if there was like a blood splatter or, you know what I mean?
Oh, God,
Like,
you're so
well,
morbid.
from the movie or from the show. That's what I mean. Like if there was
Wow.
something that was, look, this was touched there. I'm not into memorabilia like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, what do you say? Monday? It closes on Monday?
It closes on Monday. I'm going to be keeping track of this one. They put it on eBay, so it's not even like a Sotheby's auction or
exactly.
whatever. But it's eBay, so we'll see how it goes. Here's what it looks like.
I mean, it looks like it's a nice booth. I'm assuming you get the wood around it. It would actually, if you had an extra room in your house, like you're one of those people, and like you had other movie memorabilia, I could see that being pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to just put this in my house. You know what I mean? Like, this is my dining room table. No, I don't think
It's
so.
a little kitchen nook.
Yeah, it's pretty big, though. I mean, how
It's
many? You got at least fit 6 to 8 people, it seems like, at that table.
It's a big conversation starter.
Yeah. Would you ever call BS on somebody, though, that had that in their house? Right? You're just like, oh, yeah, sure. If it was signed, engraved, I don't know, something that made it, I don't know. I can't. I'm cheap though, so maybe I don't have that FU money to be like, yeah, sure, I'll spend that much money on a booth that looks like every other friggin' booth out there.
If
But
I had that much money, I wouldn't spend it
no,
on.
exactly.
Yeah, no. Oh, I don't think so. Well, here's what it looked like when the family was sitting around the table. So
Okay,
I
let's
guess
see.
you would maybe have this picture.
This picture, yes, you'd have to have something. Maybe if you had like.
This is where they sat.
Like some sort of dummies that
Now
like
it's at
just
my
look like
house.
them. Yeah, it's one of those things where, okay, yeah, exactly, Calvin, you can get a replica. It's not. There's nothing. If there was an engraving, like if there was something that happened during The Sopranos, the show, that the table was marked in some way, I'd be
Right.
like, that's pretty cool. But just a regular looking booth that somebody's ass was on, I'm like, I don't know. No, I don't think I'd be spending
No?
that much money.
Not for
I'm
you?
losing my attraction to the whole thing.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even look at that. Even the same pictures on the wall in the background. They're
Well,
renovating
yeah.
this place. They're redoing the whole thing.
I wouldn't renovate it. I mean, I would have gone all in, but I guess.
Kept it just like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't that is that the COVID-19 like plastic thing right
Shield.
there?
Yeah.
I could take that down.
I don't know. They say a lot of fans come here.
Yeah, like why would you get rid of it?
I know. It seems
Why would
weird.
you get rid of it? That seems stupid, but whatever. Okay.
Well, this report is sponsored by you. We need
It
our
is.
booth money, No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
We're not buying the booth. We do rely on you to help us support The Nikki Maduro Show. TheNikkiMaduroShow.com is the website, TheNikkiMaduroShow.com. I'm Kim McAllister on The Nikki Maduro Show.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you to everybody that's been donating to the show. We do really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about politics. That Supreme Court ruling, it was amazing, Kim, when it came out. I would say the conflicted reaction that a lot of people had, because on one hand, I think there was just a part of so many of us, even though I wasn't going to put my money on it, that was just hoping that the Supreme Court would let the lower court's ruling stand, right? Like, that's it. You don't have immunity. Cut and dry. We don't need to go through all of this crap. But obviously, the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to hear arguments. It's going to happen the week of April 22nd. Earlier, I'd already heard that case, like you heard in that news report I said, about whether Trump could be disqualified for running for a second term under the 14th Amendment. And we're still waiting. We're still waiting for that case to play out. At some point, the Supreme Court was always going to have to step in, either for the 14th Amendment or with this case. Now, people are saying that a ruling, because they're going to expedite it, we could get it by the end of June? So it does delay other cases from starting. Obviously, the case with Jack Smith can't start. I think he was hoping to start it in March. But it's so frustrating that what we all saw with our eyes and ears needs to be debated in the highest court in the land. And we don't trust the Supreme Court enough to believe that they're going to see what all of us saw on January 6th.
Yep.
I think that, to me, is the most frustrating. And I don't know where we go from here. I don't know where we go. I can't imagine a reality in which the U.S. Supreme Court says a president has ultimate immunity for everything that he does. I understand that if you're president of the United States, for instance, and you order troops to go to war, right? I mean, it's not like you're going to get charged with murder for those sorts of things. I understand that. I understand there has to be some sort of, I don't want to call it immunity, but it's not blanket immunity. Mm-hmm. And not only that, Trump lost the election. I know Biden wasn't sworn in, right? But he was not president. And it's so frustrating. And I'm scared about the fact that I don't know how the Supreme Court's going to rule, right? I'm scared that I just have no idea how they're going to rule. I never thought we would lose Roe v. Wade, and we lost Roe v. Wade, right? I mean, there's so many things that I didn't think we would be at where we're now at. And then, of course, there's that, the case where Trump has to pay that, $400-something million fine. He doesn't have the money, by the way. So apparently, earlier this month, Judge Arthur Engoron, I think I'm pronouncing that right, who, by the way, had white powder sent to his office. I mean, he didn't touch it or whatever, but obviously people are pissed. He ordered Trump to pay nearly $355 million. And then it increases by $112,000 in interest every single day that Trump doesn't pay it. And Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, has warned that the appeals court that Trump does not have the cash to pay the $454 million. Yesterday, Trump asked the appeals court to hold the enforcement of the penalties. I love this. It's like, how about $100 million? Like, no,
you
that's
can't
not how it
negotiate
works.
with the court, really. This is not a business deal.
It is so funny. Yeah. He says, I'll give you $100 million until my appeal is over. And so Letitia James is like, obviously he just doesn't have the cash. He does not have the cash to do it. That's the $100 million, by the way, that's less than a quarter of the amount that he owes. That would be quite the deal that he would get. Now, remember, in addition to the $454 million judgment in the civil fraud case, he also owes E. Jean Carroll $83 million. He's also, been barred from doing business in New York for 3 years. He is up a creek. I don't understand why people continue to hitch their horse to this guy. It's find someone else. You might not like Nikki Haley, but if you're a Republican, I would say go that way. Like, she's not going to prison. She's not going to jail. She's not being broke. And imagine also the national security risk, which is another thing that people keep saying. Mary Trump has been on the socials saying this all the time. He's going to trade secrets for money. Like, if he doesn't have the money. And that's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. I just don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to pay this, what he's going to have to sell. Some people were saying earlier, maybe Mar-a-Lago is on the chopping block. Can you imagine Mar-a-Lago being gone? All these, what was it called? It was like the East Coast. Well, I mean, it's the East Coast White House, but like it was like the Florida White House or whatever, because he spent so much time there.
I think that would be the last resort. Don't you think he would rather sell Trump Tower than Mar-a-Lago? Because Mar-a-Lago is where he actually lives now, right?
Yeah, but I wonder which is worth more. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, he's going to have to work with some sort of financial advisor. Can you imagine being Trump's financial advisor? It's like and it exposes how not uber rich Donald Trump is, right? I mean, I don't care how rich you are. Those are some really high fines that you have to pay. I don't think anybody would be happy to pay that. Phineas says, Nikki, he already did, talking about the secrets. He gave Russia our secrets and information. Nuke. I was like, what is that word? Nuke secrets and the information on how to penetrate Israel's security, hence October 7th. Okay, that's a
I don't
thought.
know about that.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I understand that I'm just worried. The guy wasn't keeping our national security secrets really, behind lock and key. It was behind the toilet. Right? It's like he wasn't really keeping all of this paperwork secure. So please forgive me if I doubt that he's going to not sell the United States out for the highest bidder in order to pay his bills. It's ridiculous and it's frightening. And again, I can't believe that so much of this, including the fact that he could be president of the United States, is going to be left up to a U.S. Supreme Court in which he appointed 3 people and shouldn't have. Like, he should have never been given the opportunity. He's just an awful person. I'm sorry. I don't want to be like so blatant in my partisanship, but Donald Trump is not qualified to lead this country. And I can't believe that that the Supreme Court is gonna be determining this. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Another thing happened yesterday that we haven't touched on. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, a Republican, blocked an attempt to enshrine access to in vitro fertilization in federal law on Wednesday. I'm going to say she has a point, but intimidation matters. Okay. So Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth wanted to enshrine it. She put forth, along with Senator Patty May, a bill that was actually first introduced in 2022 after the elimination of Roe. And they reintroduced the legislation which would create a federal right to IVF and other fertility treatments. Now, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled this month, following, of course, the destruction of some of those frozen embryos, that embryos are people, that it's murder if you destroy those embryos because they are people. That led to a major hospital and clinic in Alabama to pause IVF treatments. Hyde-Smith, the Republican, objected to the bill. This is what she said. She said, I support the ability for mothers and fathers to have total access to IVF and bringing new life into this world. I also believe human life should be protected. Those are not mutually exclusive. She said that the Alabama case was not what people are talking about. She says this was a case brought by families whose human embryos were killed, which again, okay. When an unauthorized individual walked into the fertility clinic through an unsecured door, removed several human embryos, and dropped them, causing their deaths. Okay. The court holding in favor of the parents found that these frozen human embryos are children under Alabama law. And then she says it did not ban IVF, nor has any state banned IVF. The bill before us today is a vast overreach that's full of poison pills that go way too far. BS, Hyde-Smith. While the Alabama decision did not say IVF is illegal, because of what you've done, Alabama, clinics, doctors don't want to possibly face murder charges if something goes wrong. If there's a power outage and some some frozen embryos are thawed in which they're no longer viable, not alive. Remember, it's important the words we use here. No longer viable. Is that clinic going to be charged with all those murders?
Yeah.
That's the problem. And she's being, disingenuous to not see.
Negligent homicide or whatever.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. So stop, Hyde-Smith, acting like you don't know the pressure and the consequence of calling frozen embryos children. To say frozen embryos were killed using words that we equate to human, living, breathing, outside the womb life to cells that are in a frozen state. Are you kidding me? And we don't need to rehash it. You guys don't know how we feel about this, but it's disingenuous for Hyde-Smith or any Republican to act like we shouldn't enshrine IVF. It's absolutely ridiculous. And again, another point of why the hell are you voting for Republicans? Like, why are you doing this? Like, they are taking away more rights. And they claim to be the party that wants to protect the constitutional rights. They're the only ones that have taken away a constitutional right from us. They're the only party that wants to take away reproductive freedom. It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's Phineas. If embryos are people, then masturbation is murder. I mean, it's just, again, it sells. It's the promise of life. It's all sorts of things. It's ridiculous. And again, I really hope that this next election, you know what I really hope? And I'm being honest here, because I do believe in the two-party system, if not more. I just don't think that this country can handle more than two parties. I don't believe that there'll ever be a viable third party because the other parties will just adopt whatever platform that third party has. But I do want a debate. I do want a checks and balance. I do want a kind of compromised country where we can debate honestly issues and come to some sort of compromise that addresses concerns that people have. And so I hope that Donald Trump loses and this current Republican Party has a come to Jesus moment. And not only the Republican Party, but Republican voters. Stop with the nonsense. Stop with the MTGs and the Boberts, right? Stop with all of these extremists and really start moving towards the middle. Listen, the Republican Party has moved so far right that everybody on the left seems extreme, right? It's crazy right now. And I just wish that we can get back to some sort of sane debate. And I hope that if you remove Trump from the equation, if you dilute MAGA, that we can get back to sane conversations. It's going to be interesting to see who replaces Mitch McConnell. There was one headline, McConnell stepping down removes the last bulwark of traditional Republicans from Congress, as if it's like this, that McConnell was sane. McConnell was not sane. He was an obstructionist.
Crazy? But look at
crazy.
Look at how much more sane he is than others.
Just because he stood up to MAGA, just because he was like, no, this is ridiculous. Just after, he was against what happened on January 6th. Yeah. It sucks when you have to agree with Mitch frickin' McConnell, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, John, and I love John because I know that you're conservative. What are Dems proposing, right? Like, what are Dems proposing that is so extreme to you? And again, don't bring up the border because the GOP took an L on that. Okay, so beyond the border, which there was a compromise on the table that the GOP pushed aside, what are Dems doing, proposing, saying, supporting that is so extreme? What? That goes along the lines of a president should have full immunity, that somebody can be impeached with zero evidence, right? I mean, what are these things that are so outlandish that Dems should never be in power? It just, I don't know. It bothers me. And again, it's my politics showing, but Republicans taking away reproductive freedom, and even on an issue they campaign on, the border, not even passing that bill because their dear leader told them not to. It's just insane. It's just insane. I'm so frustrated.
I thought that Republicans were scrambling to try to disavow the whole IVF ruling. that they were thinking, this is
Right.
not what we want. We're the party of don't touch our bodies. We're,
Yeah.
wait a
Individual
minute.
freedoms, blah,
Well,
blah, blah.
regarding vaccines, not regarding anything else.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
But, so they were scrambling to say, this is not who we are. Well, if this is not who you are, then why did you just block this bill?
Yeah, exactly.
It is who you are.
It is who you are. It is. And that's the problem is Republicans, again, don't have a platform. They don't know what they all stand for. They're either MAGA or they're, I don't know, not MAGA. But what are you? What do you stand for? You know what the Democrats stand for? A lot of policies that President Biden got passed. Income inequality, lifting up the middle class. I love how, Republicans act like they're the party that does that, but the only ones that got permanent tax cuts are the rich. Just to remind you that that's what Trump did. We want to protect the environment. We want to do all of these things. And you could bring up the debt, John. You could bring up the debt, but Trump added to the debt.
Yeah,
so
big time.
Republicans add to the debt for things that they want. If I'm going to add to the debt, I at least want it to be for something that I believe in, not to give the wealthy tax cuts, right? And I don't believe in this BS trickle-down economics because they're hoarding their wealth. It's just stop.
The debt is not the Democrats' fault.
No, it's not. It is, and again, if you want to go back through history, and I apologize that I don't have it up, the people that grow and fix and work with the debt and work with these policies are Democrats. It is. Who got us out of the Great Recession? Obama did, right? Now, I'm not saying that W was completely responsible. It was a myriad of bad, decisions regarding watching over the lending industry at the very freaking least, right? But it's to say, it's the Democratic policies that get us into debt is total BS. It just is. And now, James, I understand, and many people bring up that Project 2025 or whatever. That is not new. That if you look up the history of this sort of idea, it's gotten more extreme. I will give you that. But it is a Republican conservative thing that they do. But I am talking about what true things do they want to do, like repeal and replace. I always bring that up because it was the biggest L besides that border bill that just got turned away. Repeal, replace. Oh, wait, we didn't have any sort of idea on how to make it cheaper and better than what the Democrats proposed. That's the Republican Party. The Republican Party is the party of bitching, moaning, but no solution. That's it. So, okay, I think I'm going to get off my soapbox with the politics. But again, it's frustrating. It really, really is. And whoever replaces Mitch McConnell, by the way, is going to have a tough job on their hands with this Republican Party. And remember, the Senate is supposed to be the adults in the room. And depending on who their leader is, that may not happen at all.
Can I bring up a topic?
Please.
It's closing. This is the Chevys in Emeryville.
I know.
This week, we already found out we're losing Macy's Union Square.
But like in 2 years, hold on. The Macy's Union Square is like going to be like maybe 1 or 2 years. So it's still going to stay open.
They have to sell off the building. It'll be a while, but still, it's going away. And Chevy's, this is kind of their, I don't know, the coolest location in the Bay Area because it's right on the water in Emeryville.
Where is that? In Emeryville, that's right. Okay.
Emeryville. It's kind of at the turn to the Bay Bridge, right? So it's this, I don't know, this spot where the views are incredible. You can see to the city and the lights of the East Bay, and it's a really pretty spot. And they're going to permanently close this down.
Why?
This is on Powell Street in Emeryville. It's going to close down April 16th.
Okay.
The parent company of Chevy's, they're called Experience Restaurant Group.
Okay.
They filed the papers, the worker adjustment and retraining papers. A total of 62 employees, 16 food servers, 8 bartenders losing their job as of April 22nd. That's the warn notice they had to give people. Why? It's not really clear. They haven't really said why they're closing it. The only information given is everybody got warn notices and everyone's being laid off there.
Yeah,
So,
I think that there's just too much competition for Mexican food in California. I'm just going to say it. I just feel like there's none in San Jose. Sandy, you're right. There used to be one in Almaden Plaza. That's now a Lazy Dog, which, sorry, love it. Where was there another Chevy's? I don't know.
I mean, it's a Chevy's. You know, they first opened this spot in Emeryville in 1986.
Wow.
Or no,
Yeah.
rather, they opened their first official location in Alameda in 1986. I'm not exactly sure when this one opened, but it's been there. It seems like it's been there
I
forever.
used to go to Chevy's. Don't get me wrong. I used to go to Chevy's, the one in Almaden Plaza where there's the Costco. I used to go there all the time. But again, just like Macy's. I mean, when's the last time when is the last time you wanted to go to Chevy's, right? Like I can only get this there. Oh, near Santana Row, Nikki, there was another Chevy's on Winchester. Okay, I didn't go. I always went to the one on Almaden Plaza. Chevy. No, that's Chili's baby back ribs. You almost got me, Phineas. I know. I was like, wait a minute. I know the song, and Chili's still out there. But again, we have so much Mexican food, and I know it's a Tex-Mex type of thing. But again, there are so many options that if you don't go to Chili's, Chili's can't exist. I'm looking on Wikipedia, so I'm going to disclose that.
Chevy's, you mean Chevy's? Yeah.
Chevy, sorry. Real Mex, which owns Chevy's, went through bankruptcy in 2011 to 2012, then was acquired by the Experience Restaurant Group in 2018, but it was underperforming.
Yep.
Look, I'm sure it still exists in other states and possibly countries. I'm assuming it's international.
Well, there's still, are you talking about Chevy's?
Yeah, Chevy's.
Yeah, there's still locations around the Bay Area. So,
okay, so there's the Emeryville one. So there's still other locations. Let's see here. Hold on. So they just opened one in 2021 in Orlando, Florida, too. I don't know. If you don't go to this location, I wonder what it's going to be, though. Make it a Taco Bell.
oh my God, you're so funny. You know, they also own, the same company owns El Torito, and those have been closing all over the place.
El Torito. I don't know the last time I stepped into one of those.
Right.
I mean, seriously. I mean, it's, again, you can get good Mexican. And I know I always talk about Taco Bell, so I shouldn't really act like I know good Mexican food, but I do know good Mexican food. And I'm not going to Chevy's. Sorry. And I'm not knocking Chevy's if you like it. I did. Oh, where was it? Hold on. Ricky.
Fajitas.
The sombreros for 99 cents.
Yeah.
Remember I used to have one in college. I saved it forever. But I will say this. One of the reason I do not eat full, and I can have them if they're diced up with other mushrooms, but the only time I can never eat portobello mushroom fajitas is because I got food poisoning at Chevy's after eating
Oh, no.
This was years and years and years and years ago. I got the worst. That's what I get for not eating the steak, right? But yeah, I just remember being violently ill, and all I could taste was portobello mushroom that I can't. I do have baby bells, you know what I mean? Cut up, but I was like, oh, have a portobello burger or something. No, thank you. That will not be happening. So it was always there. Lori says El Torito was much better Mexican than Chevy's.
Goodbye, Chevy's Emeryville.
Ms. Organic, I had that crispinata at Taco Bell yesterday. It was yummy. Thank you for reminding me. We might have to have it tomorrow. Well, it's too early to eat it. Maybe I'll have it. I'll make a video of it and I'll post it and I'll let you guys know.
You know what I think is so surprising about this? I think it's just that I drove.
It's pretty.
I drove past it for years.
Right. Did you ever go in?
Headed to the Bay Bridge, maybe once.
See?
And I always thought, what a perfect place for a restaurant. How did they get so lucky to have that location?
But again, you didn't go into it. So people are like, oh, what a pretty Chevy's, and then not go into it. And that hurts the bottom line, people.
Yep.
So it is pretty. It'll be interesting to see, absolutely who steps in. That would be funny because we have the Pacifica Taco Bell, which is the most beautiful Taco Bell ever.
It's gorgeous.
Right?
I've been to that one multiple times.
I've been to that one multiple times as well. So we'll see. I mean, it's a good spot, definitely, So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. Before we do some more headlines, since it's Thursday, welcome our friend and phone trick expert, Jefferson Graham, to the show from Photo Walks TV. Happy Thursday. Happy Leap Day.
Well,
Jefferson
thank
Graham.
you. I was in Pacifica just a few days ago. I went to the Taco Bell, and it was so crowded, I couldn't get anything, but I sure enjoyed the view.
I wonder if it's because the Crispinata came out. They have new stuff on.
No, I could tell you why. It was because the sun came out. The sun was
Ah.
out, and it was a beautiful, amazing day on Sunday.
Oh,
And that brought
nice.
people out. So I was, yes, I was filming a Photo Walks TV episode in Pacifica. But before we go any further, I
Yes.
want to ask a few questions today. I want to turn the tables
Oh,
here.
please.
I want to grill Nikki here.
Mm.
2.2 million
I don't know
views
why.
on a
I have no
cooking
idea.
video, that
Yes.
she puts on Instagram.
Hold
That
on.
if you go on Instagram right now to find it, no, you can't even find it. It's not in her regular mix. So it's come and gone.
No,
I
it's there. It's there. You just have to scroll because it's an old one.
Oh,
It's
it's
an old
old.
one. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you go to my Instagram, I actually created a place where I'm going to be moving a lot of my stuff, and there's a button that says "Cook with Nikki." I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay.
Now this doesn't have 2 million views because I reloaded it up. Well, hold on. Let me actually just find the original so I could show you. I don't know why. Here it is. I don't know why, Jefferson, that it went so viral. Beats the crap out of me. But I still, to this day, get so many people that comment on this. Here it is. This is the one.
So TikTok made me try.
Remember
it.
this
Get
one?
A can of crescent rolls, roll them out like that, and then you're gonna press them down. But don't forget to wash your hands, you filthy animals. Then
That's
you
so funny.
cheesecake from Philadelphia. It's really easy to spread.
So
you
yeah,
spread it
that's the video that I made, and it's
Okay.
it's on my new. Everyone was
Your
talking.
new Substack, your
Yes,
new newsletter.
exactly.
She's joined the newsletter revolution. All right.
Well, the only reason I did it, Jefferson, is because yesterday we were talking about food, and we always share recipes, and Kim's husband's a good chef, and people are like, we should have a place where we kind of put the Nikki Maduro Show food stuff. And I was going to try and make it the Instagram link. That became complicated. I already have a different newsletter for our sleep segment. And so I was like, let's just do one for food. Substack is really easy, by the way.
Really
so
easy.
That's why I did that.
I'm thinking maybe there should be one that goes out every night that says, hey guys, here's what we're going to be talking about on tomorrow's show.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you might
that's a
want to
good
tune
idea.
in. You
Yeah,
might
that's
want
a
to
good
tune in.
idea.
I mean, Thursday at 10, our old friend Jeff will be there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's worthy of a newsletter edition in itself.
Absolutely. And you have a newsletter as well. He has
Yes.
a YouTube channel, Photo Walks TV, but you also send out a newsletter to people that you can subscribe to, and it's sent directly to your email box.
Yes, and it comes out about 3 times a week, depending on stuff. But
Right.
generally every Saturday and Sunday. But I want to hear more about this video. Okay.
Okay.
So you've got, it's not you just holding a phone up, and you've got like 20 shots in there. So
Yeah,
what did you do? Tell us all about it.
So that's TikTok. So the TikTok app allows you to record and pause. That's why I use TikTok to record these videos, and then I just save it and then I share it. But they allow you to record and then pause the recording, and you can record like 60 seconds. I think it's up to 10 minutes that you can do. And so I like using that because other platforms, I mean, I could do iMovie as well, but that can kind of get a little complicated and all those sorts of things sometimes. So I just go on TikTok and I record, and then I hit pause, and then I change my thing and I hit pause, and it's easy. It's really, really an easy interface. So that's why I use it.
Okay, because cooking could be very monotonous, and
Yes.
I once did one with somebody who came over, and I was going to record her making an ice cream cake, and 90 minutes later she was still talking, and it was unbearable. But you did a great job there.
Thank you. And I will say, I had done another one with my son. He was doing the smoothie video, if you guys remember that. That one I did do on iMovie because I just wanted to continue to record it. And I was able on iMovie to cut out a lot, like the blender sound. We started it, but nobody wants to listen to a blender for a minute or whatever. And so I cut that short, but still got the, effect of it. So there's a bunch of different things, but TikTok for these quick videos is my favorite to use.
Okay, so what's your latest TikTok video?
Oh gosh, my latest TikTok video, I can look it up right now. So that's food related. I don't know about.
Do you do a
general?
TikTok every day?
No, I wish. There's a lot. So what I do is I pull clips from this show. And then if it's a funny conversation. So for instance, let me share my screen. And I don't think I'll get dinged for it since it's my TikTok. So I did the surge pricing one during the times when people so often eat. So we'll talk about something during the show, and then I'll pull it using Premiere. I'll edit it. I'll get the captions and everything done. And I'm a one-woman band after the show to get all this stuff up. So, I try to get as much as possible.
It's hard because we could make lists of the 17,000 things that we could do after the show.
Exactly.
And it never ends.
Literally, I look up at the clock and it's 1:00 in the afternoon and I haven't eaten anything and I get the kids soon. So I try to get as much possible. And I do like the newsletter. It's very easy, and I'll try to put up more and more stuff. Yeah, it's a fun place.
Well, as I say, even if it's just here's who's on the show tomorrow and what we're talking about.
And I usually do get that up on Facebook, but maybe putting the same exact thing into a newsletter shouldn't be too difficult.
We should ask listeners right now, would you be interested in subscribing to Nikki's newsletter?
There you go.
And what would that URL be?
Well, I would assume it would be the Nikki Maduro show, except I used that for the food segment.
So is the Substack NikkiMaduroShow.substack.com?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think, Kim, you were so awesome and did that. Yeah, right here. The NikkiMaduroShow.substack.com. And that's where I put the food thing, but I could also put the food and I could put the show stuff there.
It's right.
No big deal. We could do it all right there.
I did subscribe last night.
Thank
you.
You'd
be glad to know. I'm happy to do that. And
awesome.
So I think you did a great job, and the TikTok video was wonderful.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy videos, so I got a new washing machine.
Oh.
And my biggest question was, how are the guys going to get it through the door?
Oh.
Because I'm in a garage and I don't have a garage door that opens. I work in a garage. So how are they going to do it? It's impossible. But and how do they carry it in? So I pulled out the phone and I shot them coming in, and I shot a little 60-second video that 8,000 people watched. Now it's nothing like 2.2 million, but it's still 8,000 people thought this was so interesting to watch two guys put a washing machine through a door.
You'd be surprised at I'm surprised by what my children choose to watch videos of. It's my daughter, just on the side note, since we're talking about this, she watched, and do you remember, I don't know, Jefferson, if this was your generation, not Kim, if this, I think was yours, where you used to go to your friend's house just to watch them play video games on the TV screen. It's moved to watch, my kid watches other people play video games on their phones. It's very meta. It's very weird. They start discussing everything. I can't stand it, but if I'm doing my daughter's hair, kind of a captive audience listening to this nonsense, but people will watch all sorts of things if it appeals to them, Jefferson.
Well, Twitch started as a place to watch people playing games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and I could think, there's more fun things to do in life, like write newsletters.
There you go. And to make really cool videos. Mario says you should do ASMR videos. I think I would drive if I had to talk like this all the time, I think I would drive myself absolutely crazy. I don't think I'd have the patience for doing something or going, no. I don't do things I don't want to listen to. How about that? Sorry, it's not going to happen. Okay, but you did do a cool video that people should check out, because you told me before the show that people don't know the difference between a time lapse and a hyperlapse.
Right.
And I've never heard of a hyperlapse, so I think I fit into that category.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want me to show the video right now?
I'll talk about it first. So a time lapse is really fast moving action, watches the world change quickly. You've seen sunsets and you've seen nights and mornings and stuff, but they're usually static and they're usually on a tripod. And a hyperlapse is one where you can do a walking time lapse if you're very careful and keep things in check. So let's take a look at the little hyperlapse that I shot on Treasure Island.
Okay, here we go. So there it is. He's walking.
And I take it back. It's the ferry building, not Treasure Island.
So what is the careful thing? Let's just watch that again. What is the careful thing you have to keep in mind if you're doing a hyperlapse video?
Okay. This is my little accessory. It's called a filmmaking cage. And basically this helps me keep the camera steady and not going up and down or this way or that way. You want to be steady from the moment you start to the moment you end. Otherwise,
How does it keep you steady? Just because you're holding it like this? Because I feel like my hands can still
it's
move.
helping me. It's helping me because I'm holding it. But let's say you don't have it. But let's say you just keep your hands right here, and then there's a little level line that's usually in the middle. Try to follow the level line, because otherwise people will get seasick watching it. But it's a fun little technique. I wouldn't go too far, but it's a fun little thing that everybody can do.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think. Did people look at you weird when you were walking like this and trying not to move your arms?
The thing is that I'm so concentrated on keeping my shot steady that I'm not really looking at them.
Do you run into anybody?
I did not run into anybody because I see them on the other side of the phone. Do you guys, if you're both Bay Area natives, where would you go in the Bay Area for the all-time best view of the San Francisco skyline?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I like to do like a look down kind of an entire type of thing.
The San Francisco skyline. Where would you go?
I always like coming again because I only really go to work and leave. When I come, from the Oakland side over and you're just kind of coming in that way, I always think that there's a nice view from that location. Okay. Vicky says Marin. Louis says Treasure Island.
I'm going to say Crown Beach in Alameda.
Okay. All right. That usually doesn't make the list, but that's okay. I just did it. My video on Treasure Island will be running this weekend, which I believe is the all-time best view. It just made that much better with the Bay Bridge, which obviously never gets the love. It's always the Golden Gate Bridge, but the Bay Bridge is amazing. But, if you had to look at the best views, you would do the Sausalito side of the Golden Gate Bridge or Sausalito. Alcatraz has a pretty good view. And
the ferry from Larkspur to the ferry building. Mm-hmm. That's a nice one.
And anywhere on the water is usually pretty great.
Exactly. I was just going to say that too.
Here's the view from Crown Beach. Check that out.
That's pretty nice.
That's great.
I mean, that's a really cool view from that angle. But yeah, from Marin, you see a different view, a shot of the skyline. It's beautiful too. But this is overwhelming when you're standing on this beach in Alameda and it's just like, there's the city so close.
Well, I'm going to have to do that on my next visit.
There you go.
Yeah. And I actually went to college in Alameda. Did you know that?
No, where?
But I went to the College of Alameda.
Oh, that's what it was called. Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't know about this beach, so I'm going to have to go check out the beach.
Yeah. Ricky says the hills of Berkeley, the best view from this side.
Yeah.
What's really fun about the checking out the skyline? Okay, so from Treasure Island, Transamerica building is over here, but when you're at the Golden Gate Bridge, it's over there. On the Sausalito side, looking back, it's over here. So that's kind of fun.
Jim says the Chabot Golf Course has stunning views of the bay. I don't know the Chabot Golf Course, but there you go.
Well, the great thing about the Bay Area, now I know you have a lot of Bay Area listeners, and I was just there. Was I there last weekend? Yeah, I was there last weekend. It was just so amazing. And we've talked a lot about, all the bad news that San Francisco gets, and the Macy's thing was not good. But the city itself on a beautiful day, just such an amazing place.
Gorgeous. I love, I mean, again, and it's not everywhere. I just, if you hang out in the bathroom all day long, you're going to, see poop all day. But if you walk around San Francisco, you can definitely see all the beauty that the city has. So if you want to find bad areas, it's not hard to find, but there's just so much beauty there as well. And it is nice.
Yeah, the areas I was in, which is the Embarcadero, North Beach, Chinatown, they were all amazing.
Did you go for the Chinese New Year's parade?
I did.
Nice.
Nikki, have you ever been there?
I've never gone to the parade. No, I have not. In San Francisco, no.
So everybody says it's one of the greatest parades of all time, and what a great photographic journey you're going to have. And the parade was pretty boring. The parade was dull. The parade was 2.5 hours, maybe even 3 hours long. Now, I made a video of it, and I took out those 3 minutes of pretty good stuff. But there was a lot of
just waving,
a lot of waving, a lot of politicians, and I mean of all stripes, from Mayor Breed down to the county assessor, down to oh god, I mean it was just it was really tough. And
what were you hoping to see more of, like the dragons? It's the year of the dragon, right? So I would have imagined there was just a ton of colorful dragons everywhere.
Well, there were in between, mostly politicians waving. And every school in San Francisco somehow got into the parade.
Right. Yeah, exactly. My funny parade story, Jefferson, and you'll get a kick out of this. My husband's family is military. And so we often did the Morgan Hill 4th of July parade. And this is when GoPros first started coming out, And so I had purchased one for my husband. I believe it was like for Father's Day or something. And it was my first time using it. And I pointed. And so we're in the parade and I wanted to take a whole parade kind of picture of it and seeing everybody and all that. Well, I didn't point it the right direction because I was confused on which way the lens was. And so my husband went back afterwards to take a look at the parade. And all it is, I don't know, 20 minutes of me saying Happy 4th of July because all I had it was pointed at myself the whole entire
That's so
time.
funny.
Well,
So yeah, got to point the camera in the right direction, not just at yourself.
when I drove home, I was going to stay somewhere. I was going to stay about 2 hours out of the city, and my choice was Morgan Hill or Gilroy, but I went for Gilroy.
Yeah. Morgan
Yeah.
Hill's a nice town. So is Gilroy. I'm not knocking Gilroy, but Morgan Hill, it's growing exponentially fast.
Oh, really?
But their downtown, it's a really cute downtown. It's growing. But they have a lot of great shots that you could probably find of the hustle and bustle of the growing town. So if you're ever back,
I
you
was
can stay there.
I was looking for easy on, easy off access to an affordable motel with a gas station next to it, and that
did it.
Plus there was a bowl of chocolates when I showed up at this hotel, and they
there
had
you go.
Snickers and Hershey bars and Milky
Oh.
Ways and M&Ms, and I was in chocolate heaven.
There you go. All right. So what's coming up on Photo Walks this weekend?
What am I doing? Treasure Island.
Treasure
The
Island.
Treasure
Okay,
Island
perfect.
episode. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
perfect. Okay, so Photo Walks TV, you can find it on YouTube. He also has a Substack, so definitely check that out as well. Jefferson Graham, thank you so much. We'll talk next
Thank
week.
you.
Bye. Yeah, the video I'm telling you, Kim, of me taking just myself saying Happy 4th of July has
That's
to be
so
one of the
funny.
funniest things. And I still get confused. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't have been confused, but I was. I don't know what my problem was, but yeah, it was really, really funny. Only me. Okay, let's do some headlines.
Yeah.
And then we'll squeeze in a couple of more things. I do want to get to just a clip of that Sequest thing because, again, if anyone's been to Sequest in Folsom, California, never return. And if you do return, I hope it's to protest. It's horrifying what's happening out there. All right, let's do some headlines with Kim.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Maduro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
A new Texas law that would allow local police to arrest anyone they believe crossed the border illegally is being put on hold. A federal judge ruled against Texas Governor Greg Abbott's arguments that the surge of illegal immigration constitutes an invasion. The law was scheduled to go into effect next week. Again, it has now been put on hold. This is a story that's actually really concerned me for a few days ever since I saw it. I don't know if you saw earlier this week that French President Emmanuel Macron said the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine can't be ruled out. All right? He's saying they can't let Russia win. And so while there's no plan to send French troops to Ukraine, he said they can't rule it out. Everything's on the table. This is what he said. And my first thought was, well, if France sends troops, does that mean the Allies have to send troops? That means us, right?
Yep.
And does
That's
this
exactly
make
what that
then
means.
World War III?
Yep.
Well, European leaders are rejecting any suggestion that the West could send troops to Ukraine after Russian President Vladimir Putin's threats of possible nuclear war. Putin said the West sending troops to Ukraine may lead to nuclear war. In his annual State of the Nation address, Putin said Moscow has the weaponry to hit Western targets if they send their own troops to defend Ukraine. But he said claims that Russia will attack Europe are nonsense. Putin saying all of this really threatens a conflict with the use of nuclear weapons, therefore the destruction of civilization. He's referring to an idea from French President Emmanuel Macron Monday, who said the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine can't be ruled out. So,
I mean, you don't want to telegraph what you won't do, right? I mean, I understand that. It's kind of God, I just wonder what this world would look like if women were in charge. I don't say that to be sexist, you know what I mean? But we're talking about human lives here. Like stop already. I don't know. It's probably a naive statement to make that if a woman was president of all the countries, we would never have war, but we've never been able to experience it. So forgive me for wondering. Yeah, I understand Macron not saying, no, we're never going to send troops, because then tells Russia that there's some sort of line that will not be crossed. So if there's the worry that this could lead to another war, I understand that. On the other hand, I don't want Putin to call his bluff either. So yeah, it's a bit concerning all the way around.
I agree. Only 3% of a Texas Panhandle wildfire that's burned more than 1 million acres now has been contained. The Smokehouse Creek fire, now the largest in Texas history, that according to the Texas A&M Forest Service. And we said earlier, 1 death reported from this wildfire. Millennials are poised to become the richest generation ever. According to the annual wealth report from real estate consultancy Knight Frank, over the next decade, baby boomers born between 1946 and 64 will begin handing over real estate, equity-rich stock portfolios, and other assets to those born between 1981 and 1996. The firm estimates there will be a $90 trillion shift in assets between generations.
You know, and this is the thing. It's funny. Remember, I was talking to my financial advisor, which don't believe I'm rich. It's just trying to keep things straight. But I actually mentioned it to him, and I know it's a morbid thing to do, but if you are going to come into something when your parents, and I'm not trying to be like, I want my parents to die so I can get,
no,
but you need to realize the laws, the tax implications of inheriting something like a house. Right? What do I need to do? Do I need to live in the house? Is it a living trust? Is there anything like all of these things need to be situated? Now, I maintain, and I hope she's listening, I swear to God, and knock on wood that I'm right, I truly believe that my mom will be alive by the time I retire. The woman, I just feel like, I feel like it's my dream, obviously, that my husband lives just as long, of course, but it is my dream that I and myself and my mom will be retired at the same exact time, that we can go on like some trip together, or, something together where we're both like, obviously she would be older, but she's in really good health. You know what I mean? Like, so is my dad, but he's 10 years older than my mom. So for him to still be alive when I'm 65 would be, a blessing, but probably a harder thing to have happen. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I hope that whatever I get from my parents, I don't need, because I would be set up with my retirement, that it could be passed down to my children. And that's exactly what you're saying. It's going to possibly fundamentally change where people live, how people live, what houses go on the market. Because again, older people in their retirement, they stay in their big houses because they want to stay in the neighborhood, but can't afford to downsize because it's way too expensive, right? So they keep the house that they have. And then there's sentimental value. If you raised your entire family in this house, that's my whole thing. I don't want to get rid of the house I grew up in, not because I love the neighborhood, that's it, but also the memories, right? That's my parents' house. But it's going to be, it's this idea of home ownership, generational wealth. It still holds true. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens from the baby boomers to their children and grandchildren.
I always think you don't bank on anything, right?
Oh, of course not.
I'm not counting on that for retirement. I'm not counting on anything. Because you don't know what your parents, maybe you do.
And if they don't have anything,
you don't know what
that's
your parents'
fine.
finances
You know what I mean?
are. Like, you don't know what they owe. You don't know.
If I get nothing, I got their love for all my life. Like, that's it.
That's all I needed. I'm good to go. Yeah. Well, we're about to get slammed here in Northern California by the biggest snowstorm of the season. This is a blizzard.
Don't hit the roads, people.
No, the blizzard warning begins this morning for the Sierra Nevada mountains, including Lake Tahoe. Caltrans and the National Weather Service are pleading with drivers not to travel there tonight through Saturday, saying it actually could be deadly. The roads will be extremely dangerous due to whiteout conditions. Some may be closed, like I-5 and 80. The storm could dump 10 feet of snow with winds topping 100 miles per hour.
Oh, but do you want to know how many people were on KTVU this morning talking about packing their car with water and food and blankets and stuff because they want to try to get out there for the snow? Why? It's going to be whiteout conditions. I mean, it's just go next week. Like, just go next week. But then everyone's going to go. And
I think
I'm
people
not
are trying to get there
person.
before, right? If you can just get there before tonight, you're good to go.
No, yeah, it's like you should be on the road now. And then tomorrow it's going to be awful. Steve Paulson on KTVU, I mean, he cannot warn people enough about the snowstorm. I mean, he is, just what you were saying too, Kim. It's going to be deadly.
It's just not worth it.
It's not. No, it's not worth it.
No.
But I'm just somebody that doesn't want to ever be cold. So
there's a possibility, by the way, that you won't even need to travel to see snow because this blast of Alaska air is bringing a chance of low elevation snow to the Bay Area.
Yeah.
It's two separate cold fronts from the Gulf of Alaska that are kicking up winds and bringing rains and snow and a chance for low elevation snow through the weekend.
Yep.
This is kind of interesting. So you know how we sometimes get a dusting of snow in the Santa Cruz Mountains,
and we get it on Mount Hamilton too, up here
Mount
in San Jose.
Hamilton,
Yeah.
this type of a thing. So there's going to be overnight lows dropping into the 30s in the coldest spots. So I don't know, you might want to crank up that heater over there.
I know.
Fork out that money to PG&E. I don't know.
Kim's mentioning that because I woke up, I was about to go on the air, my heater's been on, and somebody thinks we're rich and had it up to 72. We keep it at 64 in this house. And I was like, what in the holy heck?
What kind of rich people temperature
That's
is
a rich
that?
people temperature. So sad.
The best chance for snow comes with the second system, which is late Friday into Saturday morning, especially if you're in the North Bay near Sonoma County.
Exactly.
And so this is going to be pretty good. The coldest temperatures are expected Saturday night into Sunday morning and Sunday night into Monday morning, overnight lows in the 30s to mid 40s. And then Sunday we get rain tapering off. But it'll be interesting to see if we get that snow.
Yeah, I think Sandy was the one that was saying not in San Jose. I heard on the news we're only going to get 1/10 of an inch. I don't know where you heard that. What KTVU Steve Paulson was saying was after the storm, San Jose should get almost 2 inches. I think it was like 1.8. So maybe, I don't know if it's just today and tomorrow. The storm is supposed to last through like Monday or Tuesday of next week, but temperatures. Okay, so I'm supposed to go to this fundraiser for my kids' school this weekend.
Sure.
On Saturday. The high on Saturday, 53. Now I know if you live in the Midwest, that's t-shirt weather, but for my cold hating butt, 53 is the high. When I'm leaving at night, the low is going to be 45. On Monday, the low is going to be 39. Ooh. So it's going to be cold. So I don't like it. I might have to crank up the heat. I don't know.
Well, all of this is the storms, the back-to-back storms, could make a big difference when it comes to our snowpack numbers.
Yeah.
And so the third snow survey of the season is supposed to take place today. The numbers may already be out. I haven't checked. But they're expected to show the snowpack is around 80% of average for the date. It's a big jump from last month's 52%. As of yesterday, rainfall stood at 103% of average, up from 82%. Experts believe it's a big enough improvement to avoid major water shortages this year.
Yay.
And this new storm, they say, that's coming in, hitting the Sierra will help put the wet season on track to be close to normal.
All right. Awesome. I mean, we want the water. I just wish we would store more of this water. And I know, Democratic policies. We need to store more of this water. I think individually, get the rain barrels out, do something. It's good to see. We just need more water storage to plan for all the drought years that are coming.
Yeah, we'll take it all. I think it's good. Nobody wants a drought. And so if we could just find a way to save this water in years like this would be amazing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about California's traffic. How about that?
Oh, please.
Of course, we're known for the stop and go traffic, right? But only 3 cities rank as having the worst commute. While many think Los Angeles tops the list, it actually comes in second behind New York. The new study by Finn, which is a monthly car subscription service, looked at how much time and money is spent driving to work. It factored in gas prices. It factored in car insurance and parking. San Francisco took the 7th spot. Oakland comes in 10th.
I mean, thankfully, I have a hybrid that gets me good gas mileage. But I've told you guys before, it cost me $24 to park in San Francisco now every time I work there. 24. That's the cost of doing business. Now, thankfully, I don't cross a bridge, right? And I have a hybrid, so at least I'm saving a little bit on gas. But I can't imagine crossing a bridge, paying for parking, driving a fully gas powered car. I mean, and then sitting in traffic and losing my life.
No.
Sucks.
Well, then you might want to take advantage of this, especially if you're in Sacramento. California drivers are celebrating this leap day by saving money at the pump because Circle K is offering 40 cents off per gallon between 4 and 7 p.m. and half off car washes all day, too. There's more than 200 gas stations taking part in what's being called Fuel Day Pop-Up. This is happening in San Diego, San Bernardino, Los Angeles, Sacramento, San Francisco.
Oh, not San Jose?
They didn't say San Jose.
My car is actually full, though. I filled it up last week and it's still full. So, yeah. It's still cool, though. I told my husband to fill up his truck. That'd be a good idea if it was around here.
Well, we talked about the Chevys in Emeryville closing down.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to Lee's Deli?
Now, this is different than the Lee's Banh Mi shop that's all over San Jose. Lee's Deli, I've seen it. No, I have not gone there, but I do know what you're about to say.
Lee's Deli is closing in San Francisco. Yeah. It was really once a big deal in San Francisco, kind of a staple. You could always find a Lee's, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've now closed their remaining locations. The Lee's Deli on Battery Street Wednesday night were chained up. The doors were chained up.
That's right. I think that was by our old place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, did you go there? Is it crime related or is it business related?
I never went there.
I never went there either. I know the sign. When I looked at the picture, I know the sign, so I've driven by it. Now, Lee's sandwiches, not Lee's Deli. Lee's sandwiches are all over San Jose. I don't know. I don't know if you have a Lee's sandwich. Vietnamese food, banh mi's is like the sandwich of San Jose, by the way.
Yeah.
And so, Lee's sandwiches are good. Their banh mi's are good. They have the fresh baguette sign that flashes when they have fresh bread. It's bomb.
Yeah.
That place is doing fine, I think. Lee's Deli, not so good.
At one point, they had 10 restaurants in San Francisco.
That's too many. Don't you think that's also too many? I feel like there's a little bit of oversaturation, and so that's going to cost you money, right?
Well, they serve breakfast, Chinese food, sandwiches, and sushi. They've been in San Francisco since 1983. In August of 2023, they decided to transition to a catering service because of COVID challenges.
Okay.
So it looks like this is a pandemic related, kind of after the fact hit that they just couldn't survive it. So
so it's interesting. So Lee's is not the same. So I had to Google it. I was like, this is not the same. So there's a difference between Lee's Deli and Lee's Sandwiches. Lee's Sandwiches has the blue sign with the red writing, I believe it is. And then Lee's Deli has the red sign with black writing. Well, it's like red on top and black in the middle. So there's a difference. But Lee's Sandwiches still open. Lee's Deli's closing in San Francisco.
There is a power outage in your neck of the woods, Nikki.
Oh, not here.
I guess we're lucky that you are still on the air with us.
I am.
Because 22,000 customers are without power in Santa Clara County this morning. More than 18,000 of them are in San Jose and the rest in Campbell. So that's going on right now. PG&E trying to fix this. Here's the outage map and what it looks like of the folks that are without power.
Let's see if I can find myself.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of, well.
No.
It's near me, but it's not. I'm not in that circle. It's close though. I'm near Campbell, but it's not me. That's a lot of Campbell though.
Yeah, this started just before 10 a.m. So it's about 18,500 customers in San Jose, 4,500 in Campbell, and only 100 in Sunnyvale.
Okay.
But they're trying to get the lights back on. So 22,000 people overall in Santa Clara County. Just so you know what's going on.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't spread to me. All of a sudden, we're just going to go black.
Yeah, no, it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Is this thing on? Hello? There's nothing worse, believe me. When I disappear or I'm frozen and then I disappear, there's literally nothing worse than it going black on my screen and being like, sorry. Turning on my phone to listen to the show.
They have this music festival that is called the Aftershock Festival, and it's all about the whole heavy metal situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are out with their lineup.
Oh, cool.
The
Who is it?
Aftershock people. They've got a lot of people, a lot of bands coming to their big show. Slayer.
Nice.
Slipknot.
Okay.
Iron Maiden.
Nice.
Motley Crue.
Oh,
those are the
awesome.
headliners for the
That's
Aftershock
cool.
Festival, which is it's a 4-day festival in Sacramento. More than 130 performers. Also, Pantera, Judas Priest, Disturbed, Evanescence, Stayed, and Anthrax.
Oh, wow.
They say this year's will be the biggest, enough to add a 5th stage. Last year's event brought in 160,000 people to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good show. I have never gone. I've wanted to go. I'm not a huge heavy metal person, but I mean, like Motley Crue and all them. I mean, back in the day, I used to listen to, and I do like the music. It's just not, I mean, just going up there and the price of tickets and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, RJ, the lineup, that's a really good lineup. So yeah, have fun if you're going to go.
So yeah, and the festival is in October. I think it's October.
Is it my birthday weekend?
10th to the 13th at Discovery Park.
It is not. It's not my birthday weekend.
Lastly, Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani is now married.
Oh, congratulations.
Ohtani announcing his marriage on social media last night, saying he married a woman from his native Japan. Ohtani does not provide his wife's name or say exactly when he was married. But now that he's making the
heck yeah,
he's like, okay, I've got the money situation in hand. Now I'm going to take care of the family situation. So
there you go. I mean, good for him. I mean, coming out here, and you'll remember the Giants really wanted him, but he decided not to. He went to Southern California.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, but you know what? Good for him.
Exactly.
Congratulations on the marriage. This is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
There
Congratulations.
You go. Yesterday we had the death of comedian Richard Lewis. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, that's so sad. He was young. I mean, I guess what, 76, something like that. It's not too young, but it's young.
It's young. He had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, but he didn't necessarily die of that. He died of a heart attack.
Heart attack, yeah.
Yeah, so he's passed away, but now Jamie Lee Curtis is saying he is the reason that she's crediting him with her sobriety.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that she had a problem. I guess I'm not up on my
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah. They were on the sitcom together, Anything But Love.
Yes, I loved that show.
Yeah.
Aww,
and so she said that he was handsome and made her laugh. And that's the one thing that a strong, capable woman can't really do herself. He said he got the part when I snort laugh when he mispronounced the word bunt cake.
How did he pronounce it? Bundt cake?
It's pretty funny. But yeah, she says that they supported each other and that he's the reason that she's sober. She wrote, I'm forever grateful for him for the act of grace alone. He found love with Joyce, his wife. And of course, besides his sobriety, what mattered most to him, she said, I'm weeping as I write this. Strange way of saying thank you to a sweet, funny man. Rest in laughter, Richard, my Marty.
That makes me all weepy. Yeah. Rest in peace. Funny man. Definitely iconic. Absolutely.
So a sad situation there. But I mean, I'm glad that if he had to, leave something behind, what a gift to leave us a Jamie Lee Curtis that's healthy and has, is doing well.
And all of his comedy. So
speaking of comedy, did you hear that Jamie Foxx is ready to return to stand-up after his whole health scare?
No.
Remember he was in the hospital?
I do remember, and he wouldn't talk about it that much.
Survive.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Right. Now he says he is ready to get back on stage.
Oh, good.
So he's ready to come back.
I guess I forget that he's a comedian so many times. I see him as an actor so much. But
and
he's
musician. This guy's the total package. He can do it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Well, good for him. That must mean that he's feeling much, much better to put himself back out there.
And did you hear that Panera Bread? You remember they're the ones that had like the giant caffeine lemonade. What was it called? I don't know.
Charged lemonade or something like that.
It was like people were having all kinds of health problems because of this. They say the recent attempt to boost sales with their bigger high-end menu is not working.
Shocking.
So they're going back to basics. They're cutting all these things out.
Good.
People, they say, are looking for less expensive food.
Yes, we are.
And so they had tried to make put dinner offerings, but now they're going to pare it back.
Good.
Beginning April 4th, they're only going to have 9 new menu items and 12 existing salads and sandwiches. So they're paring back. They're realizing that people don't want to go there and pay a bunch of money.
People want to know what they can get. And honestly, these restaurants, you would boost so much bringing back the dollar menu, like a true dollar menu. You know what I mean? Like, I understand things cost more, but there's so much more competition.
Yeah.
That's why we were talking about bags and baggage fees. Southwest does well because they're like, screw it, we're gonna give it to them free. And if I had a choice, I'm going for them because I get something for free. People are price conscious. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This report is sponsored by you.
It is.
Which means we do rely on you to help us keep this show going, and we do love doing it. So we love that you love it, and thank you for supporting it.
Thank you.
TheNikkiMadoroshow.com. TheNikkiMadoroshow.com is where you can find us and find all the ways to help. I'm Kim McAllister, and this is The Nikki Maduro Show.
Yeah, and I'll give some shout outs at the end of the day. And sometimes it's hard to do the PayPal shout outs so much. But Kim sent us a donation yesterday, and I just loved her note. She's like, I really enjoy the show. I appreciate the Bay Area topics. Thanks for continuing to call out the crazy in Oakland. Always, always, always. So thank you guys so much. We literally, we're not going to be able to continue doing the show without your support. So thank you so much for it. Okay, I have to get to the story. And Phineas, I didn't realize it was you. That's the Twitter account, CA Fireman or whatever. I didn't put the two together, so forgive me. But so Phineas sent me this. He sent me the link through Twitter of the investigating SeaQuest in Folsom. I am not going to play you the whole thing. You should. It's 10 minutes long. Just go to ABC 10 Investigates. It's on YouTube. It's also on their website. You can watch it. It's 10 minutes long, and you're going to leave so upset. But I wanted to play you just a part of it because you guys remember when I went to go visit the capybaras in Arizona, right? I searched high and low. I thought that there weren't any capybaras in California. I thought they had moved, right? Or they were in San Diego or something like that. Apparently, and I'm assuming they still are because they're going to be in this news report, they're at this SeaQuest place. And I'm just going to play you a little bit of this. Now, just to let you know, this is a shopping center turned into a safari / aquarium. Look at this. Let's turn on the volume.
Interactions.
Look at that. There's the capybara.
The interactions are the ones that pay the bills.
To pet animals, you pay for an interaction.
How many people are in there?
$50 to pet a sloth.
They would try to book as many interactions as possible. You're thinking thousands of dollars in a day.
What was that like for the animals? What did you see?
USDA regulations, each animal is supposed to have breaks. There was no real breaks. They booked them back to back.
And I'm just going to pause there. When we did the capybara thing in Arizona, one, the place was huge. Most of it was outdoor if it wasn't in an aquarium. And when we did the experience with the capybara, they brought one capybara. I wasn't allowed, even though I kind of wanted to be in their safari area or whatever.
Sure.
And they made it clear, if he doesn't want to come to you, that's it. We can only touch him gently in one part of his back, right? There was a handler that was just for him. Like, it wasn't as if, we had free reign to do whatever we wanted to with the capybara. There were rules.
This makes animals anxious.
Look at that animal.
She says, like a wallaby that would not stop shaking.
They did take
no.
wallaby to the vet. It's definitely from stress.
SeaQuest said they do adhere to USDA required breaks and they never force animals to interact. They added that if animals do not voluntarily exhibit a desire to interact or show any signs of discomfort, the interaction is suspended.
But it's not true because
that's not what we witnessed during our visit.
So I'll just stop it right there. I mean, the other thing, and again, I urge you guys to watch it. I didn't want to play the whole thing right now because some people listen on podcasts as well. But there's a point where if you go on their website, the SeaQuest place in Folsom, you can snorkel with the fish, which is a very small pool of water where you'll be in there with a ton of other people with these fish that you're not supposed to be in there with. It's so wrong. It's so small. They say at one point it's okay that there's no actual sunlight because UVB lights mimic sunlight. It's so disturbing. I've never that's a lie because Phineas brought up Blackfish and I remember how horrified I was by that. I just feel like it is such a crime to do this to these animals.
I didn't even know this place was here.
I didn't either. And there's apparently a number, I think there's like 7 or something across the country. One of the relatives of the owner was actually imprisoned for trafficking marine animals or something like that. Like they don't have any documentation on how many animals have died at this particular sequest. Don't go to places like this.
You can
don't
have your kid's birthday party there.
It's gross, Kim. It's so gross. And what they're offering you versus what I was able to do at the place I went to, that Wild Animal Kingdom place in Arizona. I mean, just the rules, the regulations, the sign-offs, everything is so much. The amount of space that these animals had was so much larger than this. And it's in a shopping center. It's like, oh, I'm going to go to Macy's and then I'm going to go to Sequest and it's in the same place. It's as if it's so nuts. It's so crazy. And I urge anybody, and I know that we have people in Sacramento that listen, don't go to this place. This place should be boycotted. They should be protesting. These animals are not treated properly. And if I was going to they open up this report with this little girl who wanted to pet the otters. And it's so dirty in this place, so filthy. They couldn't even see. All you see is this little otter hand coming through the thing. And you can't even see the otter on the other side because it's so cloudy and gross.
Ew.
It's so awful. It's so awful. It's so awful. And
that's so different than the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Thank you. Exactly.
No.
I mean, so different than the other place that I went to. I mean, I remember we were walking through this aquarium, and then also, where we saw the white alligator or whatever. There's so much room for these animals and these fish. It's crazy that this place even exists. And Phineas, you're right. We need a stronger animal rights bill that makes animals people, not property. Right. If a clump of cells gets more rights than these friggin' animals do.
This should be illegal.
It should be.
These places should not be allowed to exist.
Yep.
It says touch, feed, and interact with animals from 5 different continents right here in Folsom.
It's so small.
Land and sea adventure. And they've got all these pictures and all these things that you can do. Meet art. Look at this girl who's trying to touch a sloth here.
You shouldn't be able to get that close.
No.
I mean, and again, the humidity isn't right for the sloth, and so they could actually die because the humidity is not right. It's just so awful.
Sloth interaction, crested porcupine interaction, meet a capybara.
I know.
Come on,
my poor capybara. I'm so sad.
They're not the best aquarium in California.
No,
absolutely not.
So don't go to this place. Do not visit it. I don't care if I get dinged by YouTube for saying that's horrifying.
No,
that's horrifying. And I understand wanting an experience. Believe me, I paid a lot of money, I thought. And now I'm like, Jesus, it wasn't enough to meet one capybara with all of these rules. And there was a limit of how many people could be there. There was a literal limit of how many people could actually purchase something versus Sequest, which will take everyone's money, squeeze them in. And it's awful. It's just so sad. So again, if anybody goes there, they're hurting the animals by, at the very least, not giving them the right enclosures, by overstimulating them, stressing them out. PETA is there. There's protests, the animal human rights. They've done investigations on Sequest over and over and over again. They keep cleaning solutions in the same pens with the birds. Like, it's nuts what they're doing. It's just, and I know that people want an up-close experience. You can't go on an African safari, right? So you bring a little bit of it home, but you have to treat these people treat these animals properly. It's crazy.
You can snorkel with stingrays.
No, you're not supposed to snorkel with stingrays like that.
And tropical fish.
Yeah, no.
Reptiles of extraordinary size. Pet a large tortoise. Feed the sunbathing lizards. Hold one of the longest snakes on earth.
And it's just one person after another. If you pay, you get to get a token and you get to go in. And it's crowded and it's not a big place. When I went to the wildlife safari, oh my God, I totally got my steps in and then some. I mean, it's huge. They had trains, right, to get from one end to the other. It was so much space for these animals outside in habitats.
I just don't believe in keeping animals like this. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either. And especially
if you
inside a mall.
Go see them, then go see them in nature.
Yeah, exactly. It's so sad. It's so sad. Okay, well, on the flip side, again, don't go to SeaQuest, Folsom, or any SeaQuest. But then this Willy Wonka thing. Can I just laugh my ass off about this whole thing? You know what I want to say before I show you this video? This is the problem. One with AI and being sucked in with like YouTube sponsored events, or not YouTube, but like Facebook. Oh my God, you can experience Willy Wonka. I'm going to just show you a little bit of it because I'd be pissed if I was the person that paid for this.
Boys and girls, the chocolate room.
A world of pure imagination gone wrong.
My name is Willy Wonka.
Riding the popularity of the hit movie Wonka, a new event in Glasgow, Willy's Chocolate Experience.
Yeah, that's supposed to look.
AI-generated images promising a whimsical day for kids with an enchanting garden, live performances, and character appearances, including Oompa Loompas, all for about $45. Instead, a near-empty warehouse, a bouncy castle with wooden tables set up, some janky props of candy, reports of kids crying.
You paid money. There's children here.
Our partners at Sky interviewing one actor who played Willy Wonka and described the event as a place where dreams went to die. Scottish police even got called to the scene. The event's organizer, Billy Cowell, claiming the issue is a holographic paper that didn't come in time. His company, House of Illuminati, apologizing and claiming on Facebook that they've refunded more than 800 people. But numerous people in a growing Facebook group talking about the event say they haven't gotten their money back yet. The event venue telling NBC News they'll offer their place free of charge, saying the event hosts, quote, either have no regards for the families and young children they have disappointed or are too embarrassed to come.
So I'm just going to say this. There are a lot of events that I see where the ads make it seem really cool. And then you get there and you're like, this is, and I don't know if it's improved, but I remember several years ago, remember that dinosaur like interact with, and they were like these mechanized dinosaurs or whatever. Someone that I know, I didn't go. So this is just secondhand information, had gone. And it was similar. It's like it was in a warehouse. They were kind of behind these things. The animatronics were kind of just really fake looking. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? Right. But if you're promising one thing and it doesn't even come close, yeah, I would demand my money back too. That really sucks. And those images, that advertisement with the AI and all that, it wasn't even close, man. It wasn't even close. So freaking funny.
The immersive art exhibit for Van Gogh when it came to San Francisco.
Oh, I've heard that's really cool.
It was really cool. I mean, it was all the walls in this kind of rounded room.
Right.
And they had this music that went with the art.
Right.
And lights and trees in the room. Like it just, I don't know. It was you really did feel like you stepped into a painting.
That's really cool.
Was it a money grab? Yes. They had a gift shop where they had art, Van Gogh's art on everything. It was kind of kitschy, but the experience of sitting in the room and looking at the art was pretty cool.
That's awesome. But that's also, I feel like if you have people going there and experiencing and putting in influencers, putting it on their social media, okay, I'll buy it and I'll buy a ticket. Like the Van Gogh thing. I know people that have gone to that also. This was a nice show. That's
a total fail.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a total fail. But look at
this is
the
really
Van Gogh
cool
thing. Though, so this is when you do an immersive experience, that's kind of what you think you're getting,
exactly.
Right? Look at the sunflowers flying up the wall. I mean,
that's
you
cool.
Feel like, honestly, you feel like you've stepped into one of his paintings or many of his paintings. So I can imagine that if you've gone to something like this, or this is kind of what you're expecting, and then you go into the warehouse and there's nothing except like two people with green wigs,
right? Exactly.
Trying to be Oompa Loompas and a rainbow. That's all you get.
Yeah, no.
Well,
there is something opening today in my hometown of San Jose, and I just wanted to mention it to you because I had teased it before. It's called Urban Putt. I suck at mini golf, but this place looks pretty freaking cool. Here's some video. Kind of the bar area.
Wow.
And then they have, this is like the mini putt, like this, that's at Kelly Park. That kind of imitates the tower at Kelly Park. They have all these different kinds of games. This looks really fun for a date night. I was on their website and I was trying to figure out, here's just a couple more pictures, the reservation system. And I couldn't find it yesterday when I put the story in, but this is in downtown San Jose. I want to say it's like the south of First Sofa area. I believe it is. So that's in San Jose. That's Urban Putt. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you got to do your due diligence. But $45 for a Willy Wonka experience, it ain't gonna happen.
Can you imagine walking in, thinking you're walking into this immersive thing, and you walk into that?
Exactly.
What?
It was cooler to look at the pictures of Urban Putt than it was to look at that Willy Wonka experience. And so, good luck if you try to do some of these things. Again, as a parent, I know, you see something online or your kid sees it on social media and you want to do it. Before you fork over your hard-earned cash, investigate. Make somebody else go before you pay all that stuff. All right, I want to say some thank yous really quickly as we end the show. Donald came in with a happy leap year and $5. So did Luis with a $5 and an early happy birthday to Spencer. Spencer's birthday is tomorrow. Vilma, thank you so much for the $5. Also, Marilyn, so much for the $5. You guys are so
Really
awesome.
nice.
You really, really are. Tomorrow, John Rothman will join us for our weekly political roundup. I think I'm going to have to go to Taco Bell and get that crispinata for lunch. My stomach is literally growling as I talk about it. I also wanted to go to that cafe that was mentioned last week, but they didn't DoorDash. So I'm going to stop by there also. So I might have two things for my Friday food. I'll put more things up. Again, you guys, sign up for my Substack that we're going to put all of our food and recipes. And I'll try to remember to put up the show teases. It's always on my Facebook as well. I do put up the show stuff a day before it goes up, so it's there as well, but I'll try to put it in the Substack. So go to the Nikki Maduro Show, thenikkimadoroshow.substack.com, and it's easy peasy. Also, I have a Get Some Z's Substack as well. You could just look for Get Some Z's as well. That's where you get the free sleep diary tracker, absolutely free. I just put it up there for you guys. And of course, support the show by going to thenikkimadoroshow.com. Find our Patreon link there. Thank you so much for all of our your guys' support, because we can't do the show without you. Also, please stay here for the Mark Thompson Show and the After Party Live with Kim and John. All right. Love you guys. See you Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.